Okay, so this is my final presentation for LMS 510, and basically I wanted to present in a fusion of two different ways of learning technologies: PowerPoint presentation and a video, since I'm actually a video producer and I studied cinematography in my degree. I find very appropriate to actually do a presentation and actually talk through a video. I will start by actually talking about the takeaways that I've learned in the course. The first takeaway that I would like to mention is that I got actually a deeper understanding of the opportunities and challenges of instructional design and digital learning now and in the future. I'll break down this into opportunities and challenges, and I'll start with the opportunities. Take, for example, the rise of technology and how its wide penetration has enabled more people to access learning. This led to the rise of more accessible learning technologies, such as e-learning, collaborative learning platforms, and content management systems. This means that instructional design has the opportunity to have a more scope, more resources, and the ability to design impactful learning curriculums. This also led to a lot of other industries beyond academia to tap into instructional design. Corporations, organizations, small businesses, and more have seen how they could actually create learning and upscaling models for their employees. This means what I think is that instructional designers will be more in demand to the coming years in the future due to the importance that they will provide in the learning field. Then the challenges. I've also learned the challenges and limitations of instructional design and digital learning. Take, for example, the time and cost to produce new technology-driven learning tools and the lack of understanding of the value of instructional design. Another limitation is measuring learning outcomes. What is considered to pass? What is considered to fail? This thought actually came to my mind while I learned about liberating learning and the different pros and cons that I actually shared in the discussion board. That, by the way, I never got a reply to, which makes me really sad. The second takeaway that I think is very important that I've learned is that there are a lot of tools available that an instructor can use to convey information and learning to users. From visual presentations tools like PowerPoint, Prezi, to coding and software tools like Scratch, Python, and simulations like BenchTrack that can visualize and communicate complex ideas and simulations that can improve creative and critical thinking. Take, for example, the simulation that I recreated about a job interview for the video editor role. The third takeaway that I'd like to mention is that technology evolves and actually new forms of learning tools and curriculum are being developed as technology evolves. We are living in a global world, so access to learning anytime, anywhere is taken into account. That's where technology actually plays a really big role. I remember when I studied Nicolas Negroponte, the rise of these technologies will produce new roles that we are probably not yet ready. The new future will demand the development of more hybrid education tools, from blended learning to remote learning to even crowdsourcing learning. The rapid advancement of technology can also lead to the widening gap of the digital divide. More developed countries that are connected will learn and consume more information quicker and faster, which then leads to more opportunities, while these areas that are left unconnected will be further left behind, which I actually think is a huge cons. The fourth takeaway that I like to mention is that I understood that there are different schools of thought, from Seymour Papert on using computer programming to foster critical and creative thinking, liberated learning, where learning is through fostered communities, to blended learning, where you are mixing e-learning with instructor-led modules, and even to learning through games. This shows that instructional design has different applicabilities depending on the context and the methodology the one practices. It also shows that there is not one single way to learn, that maybe combining learning taken from these different schools of thought can present a better learning methods. And it also made me realize that measuring learning outcomes may vary at times, and that these measurements should be created based on the context. And the fifth takeaway, last but not least, is that throughout this course, I've also started to understand how instructional design and learning technologies can be applicable into the workplace. Take, for example, e-learning and how people utilize this for skill development, or like Google for education to build and manage educational content. I've also learned how to use these tools at work and identify bottlenecks that should be addressed to create a compelling and engaging learning assets. Challenges like the costs and the time to produce learning models, and how companies allocate limited resources to instructional design and user testing. Now, based on the activities that I've done, I would like to talk about Scratch and simulations, because I found very interesting the activities that I was allowed to do and create. For me, the connection between Scratch and computer science is very clear, and I think it gave me the ability to create with computers, and something that I didn't know how to do, especially because I don't know how to code. And it inspired me a little bit in how to explore coding in different languages. I didn't know that there were so many different languages in the coding, and actually Scratch helped me to actually visualize it in a much better and clean way. It also caught my attention that Scratch has had many important features of programming languages, like loops and conditionals. And it actually like helped me understand algorithms and instructions in for a specific task that I want the computer to do. And yeah, like I really think it was a really unique and useful tool for me to deeply understand using technologies, in the learning field. The other technology that I like to talk about is simulations. After studying the different techniques that we could use simulation for, I found after studying the course that simulation is a technique to practice and learning that can actually be applied to many different disciplines and trainings. Let's take, for example, simulation-based learning can be actually the way to develop health professionals' knowledge, skills, and attitudes while protecting patients from unnecessary risks. Find that to be a really unique way to prevent those risks. I found so many examples of simulation that they have been widely applied in fields such as aviation and the military, with really realistic scenarios and equipment that allows for retraining and practice till one can actually master this skill. And well, so far, based on the timing, I think this is a really good timing, and I'd like to finish the presentation. I hope Professor Thatcher, you enjoyed the video, my voice, and the slides. I thought it was better for me to actually talk rather than write tons of content in order to keep you a little bit engaged. That's it. Thank you so much, and I hope you like it.